Hey, so we are we're going to get started and
Mhm.
really just enjoying. I think things are rocking and rolling, feeling really good about it. Got all of the the camera angles working where I want them to work, and I think we got it. And I'm going to bring in this very special guest, and this is hang on, this is Jiyu from South Korea. So welcome. Yeah,
Hello, hello guys.
yeah. So listen, so are you in Seoul?
Well, I am not in Seoul now, but I used to live in Seoul for a long time.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
hmm
Where are you now?
I'm in the city called Jeonju, which is like 2 hours away from Seoul.
Uh huh. And what brought you? So what do you
Uh,
do? I mean,
uh,
you,
I'm actually was a graduate student, but I just suspended school a bit, and I started my own business, like teaching English, and
uh
I
huh.
do YouTuber as my side job.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. And
Oh,
where do you teach English?
oh, I teach English at my own 학원, which means English institution. It's
Uh
a
huh.
small, but yeah, it's rewarding. And actually, the reason why I moved to Jeonju is like this is my hometown, and my
Uh
parents
huh.
live here, so I want to spend some family time. So that's
Uh huh.
why.
Well, I mean, you speak English perfectly. So
Oh my God, thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Much better than my Korean. My Korean is is maybe limited to like a few like soju and
Mm.
mukbang. There are a few things.
Yeah, I saw some of your lectures already, so I know you know soju and mukbang though.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
do you know like any Korean words or can you
No,
speak
but you know
Korean
what? We teach Korean. We have a somebody here at Penn State who teaches Korean, and
now? Oh,
I've been
okay.
thinking that it would be a really good idea to learn a little bit.
Mm.
Certainly for when I come to Korea, that would be really nice. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because actually like a lot of Korean people like you, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, for your message and for your lecture. So we were kind of exposed a lot about your lecture.
Uh huh.
So we know you as like American professor who teaches about K-pop and K-culture
Uh
and
huh.
speaks good about Korea like every time. So we really like you. So
Yeah. Well, it works.
Mm,
All I
mm,
have to do, I just have to say nice things about other places, and then
mm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Very
Well,
wise choice.
I think, there's probably many things that I could say about Korea that are not that are less kind, but I find Korea to be really fascinating,
Mm,
and as my work internationally.
mm,
And I mean, my whole life I've been working internationally, so I'm very
mm.
familiar with
Yeah.
countries around the world, and I've lived abroad for a long time, so I find
Wow.
Korea really interesting. Hey, so let me ask you another
Mm.
question. Where did you learn English?
In Korea,
I
actually.
mean, where like an institute or because
Institute, school, and like homeschooling, like stuff like that. Because my mom was a high school English teacher
uh
before.
huh.
So she knew that English is so important, especially in my generation. So she put a lot of like effort and time and money into my English education. So
Mm.
yeah. Hmm.
So does that mean you also study in like the United States and the UK and Australia and English speaking countries? Or are you
Uh,
yeah, just learning about the cultures of those countries?
Well, in school or institution, you can only just learn about culture, like very
Mm-hmm.
small pieces of like everything. But I personally was so interested in American culture, so I studied myself. And my major was international studies in my undergraduate. So I studied a little bit more than other people, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Hey, yeah, that's cool. No,
Mm,
it's really exciting. Hey, so listen, just so you know, there's sometimes that I will just turn on a different camera, which is, this
Mm.
angle. So I'll turn it from what you see. You'll see me looking in a different direction. And
Oh,
then sometimes I'll have a different camera angle that you can't see, but it's up on the live stream.
oh, okay.
Um, and then I'll come back and then, come back to you, this other camera. So I'm just moving around in lots of different places. And I'm just, so we've been live streaming my class, which is the video that
Uh,
you've seen,
mm-hmm,
and for several years.
mm-hmm.
But with the pandemic, we're not in the classroom. And so I just stand in front of a green screen. And,
Oh,
and then I built a studio in my basement.
mm,
Here, I'll show you a little bit.
okay.
Hang on. Wait. Hang on. I'll kind of give you a sense of what it looks like. It's like
Oh,
really
is it your basement now?
yeah,
Wow.
I have a small room in the
Oh,
basement.
wow. It's like a studio. Wow.
Yeah, with different cameras and things. So when I'm
Mm,
as I'm talking in different ways,
mm.
I'm there are times when I may not look at you just because I'm
Oh,
looking at a different camera.
okay.
But it's all
Oh,
good. It's all good.
wow.
You're here.
I mean, your studio is way better than my office. So
Well, yeah, but
I envy you.
listen, I'm way older than you are, so I have I
Oh,
have a
God.
lot of time. Yeah, yeah, so cool. Hey, so listen, um, let's can I have a couple questions right now, just about just about the just the pandemic and how things are going right now in Korea. Um,
Okay. So this pandemic situation is really tough. And for Koreans, like we are doing our best and we get a lot of compliments like, oh, we are doing really good overall because we have so like little cases like compared to other countries. And we have very little death toll as well. But like nowadays, like people's patience is kind of like reached out to limit. So we were like still wearing masks and we were still being cautious, but people were just hanging out and like some meetings are still like gathered. So actually like from a few days ago, it got kind of worse. So we got like 500 something new cases every day nowadays. So we are at stage 2 and we have this 3 stages like according to COVID situation and treatment system. And stage 2 is kind of severe and stage 3 is very, very like serious. So we are at
mm,
stage 2 now.
yeah, so 500 cases. Okay, so listen,
Yes.
let's do the math on that.
Mm-hmm.
So 500. So Korea, you have 55 million people in Korea.
Yeah, right. Like
In the
about.
United States, we have 330 million. So
Mm,
we are 6 times the size
mm-hmm.
of Korea in the United
Right.
States.
Mm.
So if you multiply the number of cases, if you were the United States, if we were Korea in the United States, that would mean we would have in a day right now about 3,000 cases of
Right.
COVID.
Right.
And we have almost 200,000 cases, right? So
Yeah, I
we,
heard the news. Mm.
yeah. So if you
Mhm.
think about Korea as in crisis because you have 500 cases, so imagine us,
Mm.
right? So
Mm.
so this would be okay. So we have 170,000, 3,000. This would be like Korea having 35,000 cases, like
Right, right, right,
30,000 cases.
right.
Imagine having 30,000 and you only have 500.
Mm.
So this is wow, this just shows you how in the United States we really live in a bubble, and in Korea you live in a bubble. You live in a different kind of bubble. So
Mm.
when you think about the United States, what do you think? Like what's your
Well, actually, I have this very complicated feeling about United States because I love that country. I studied there and I like obviously love your language, so I studied a lot. So I knew a little bit about the States, and I think like your like atmosphere, like your like like how can I say, like your creativity is accepted like in the
Mm-hmm.
States, like that kind of vibe. I really like it. And people are very open-minded and you guys are really like mixed culture.
Mm-hmm.
So like very open to other cultures. Like I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and like a few elites lead that society, and I really like that part as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because like seems like many geniuses are from the States, so I
Well,
really
a
like
few,
that.
a few. Yeah.
Oh my God. And but I personally think that the political system in the States, like especially nowadays, is a complete chaos.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel really sorry about you guys. Like, I mean, political situation all over the world, like it's kind of chaos like nowadays, but still, like there's no time for your politicians to fight, because your
Yeah.
people are dying.
Yeah.
So I just hope like, oh, like can you just figure it out? Because I feel really sorry because I like your country. So
No.
so yeah, so it's kind of complicated.
Wow, that's so cool. That's
Mhm.
such a okay. So let's take an approach to this. So here's something I talk about in my class regarding Korea, or East Asia, right? So Korea is a much more communitarian society than the United States,
Mhm.
and meaning that when your natural the natural self relationship of self to other is to more easily or quickly think of put the community
Mhm.
at least alongside of oneself or ahead of oneself. And the
Mhm.
United States is much more um, individualist oriented, so
Mhm.
it's not it's not it's not one or the other, it's an orientation. So Korea is much more communitarian oriented or community oriented, and the United States is more individual oriented.
Mhm.
And so the fact that you have this kind of natural sense or this feeling that, hey, you wish the United States would get things together because our people are dying.
Mm, mm,
That's
mm.
not how we think about when Americans think about Korea. That's not how we would think about it necessarily.
Oh, oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
I mean, it is. I mean, Americans are very gracious and very thoughtful and very concerned about other places in the world. But there's a unique orientation that I think is a little different.
Mm, mm.
Like for example, when you wear a mask, everyone wears masks in public in Korea, right?
Right.
Like there's no argument about whether you should have to wear a mask or
Mm, mm, mm.
am I right?
Yes, right.
Like nobody refuses to wear a mask and says like it's my right to not wear one. And here we have our leaders tell their people, listen, you don't have to wear a mask. I think you should, but not all leaders. Some politicians demand are passing ordinances or laws requiring people to wear masks, and other ones are saying, nah, it's up to you. I think you should, but you don't have to. And I think, wow, like you, what's the reason, the primary reason that you wear masks?
Mm.
What in Korea? That so yeah. What is that?
Well, there are a few reasons why we wear masks all the time. Like first,
Mm-hmm.
like you mentioned, like we are very communitarian society. So if you don't wear a mask, like it shows that you don't respect the society. So you get blamed and like maybe you're gonna be treated as a somewhat weird person or like even crazy person. So you have to wear a mask for yourself and for others. And second reason is like we Korea have has had like a kind of serious like polluted air problem for a long
Mm-hmm.
time, like because mainly because of like from China. So
Mm-hmm.
we were kind of used to wear like this kind of mask like all the time, especially during like springtime, when it was like worse. So
Mm-hmm.
it was not weird thing to wear a mask, if it's needed. And third, like government officials are really, really working hard. So we feel really sorry about them, because like they work like overtime, and they can't go to home. So we kind of hope that we can help them, if it's a very simple way, like, wearing a mask, then why not? It can help people. So,
Yeah.
so there are a few reasons.
So yeah, so it's very simple,
Mm-hmm.
right? So three things, right? It's community oriented. You wear a mask out of respect for other people because you
Mm-hmm.
care for other people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's respect for the whole community.
Right.
And it's the wait. What was the second one?
Second one was like air pollution
Oh, air
problem.
pollution,
Okay.
right? It's
Mm.
so that's just because you do, and you're used to it because of air
Yes.
pollution coming from China mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and and then the third one is it's just really simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's right.
Right.
You know it's funny that I think in here in the United States, I think in every culture it's difficult to do things that mm, lead us to feel awkward.
Mm.
Do you know this word awkward?
Mm-hmm. I know.
Because many like so I speak Spanish, and in
Oh, wow.
Spanish there
Mm.
isn't really a word for awkward, and we were trying to teach it. My
Mm-hmm.
wife and I were trying to teach it to our friends one time,
Mm-hmm.
not recently in Colombia,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a really strange, it's an interesting word, but it's hard in every culture. It's difficult for people to um, to have a to do things that are awkward that they've never done before.
Mm.
And so wearing a mask is one of those, because it's not a, we're many, especially if you're from a culture that's very physical, and
Mm-hmm.
like every time you greet someone, you kiss them on each cheek, and you shake hands and you hug and different things. And when you can't do that and you just have to wave from a distance and you're behind
Mm-hmm.
a mask, it really feels just wrong. It feels
Mm.
like disrespectful, and so I think as the United States, as we move forward, it gets easier to wear a mask, and
Mm.
it will be. So next time we have a pandemic, I think Americans will more quickly start wearing masks.
Mm.
Or
Mm.
many people, when they get sick. Now, if I feel sick or if there's a flu going around, I
Mm-hmm.
will be much more comfortable wearing a mask because
Oh.
I don't want to get somebody else sick, and I don't want to get sick.
So this wearing mask thing, like, it's kind of still weird to you guys, right?
It's getting easier.
Getting easier. Oh,
Yeah.
because like at the first stage of pandemic, maybe it was like around March or April,
Mm.
like everyone was wearing mask here. And in the United States, like they were not wearing masks. And
Yeah.
I was really curious why not. So
Yeah.
I once asked my one of my American friends, like, why don't you guys wear mask? And he said that it's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward. He said that as
Mm.
well.
Yeah.
And he told me like this whole mask wearing thing is kind of considered like Asian thing.
Mm.
So like I don't know, like he said like Westerners kind of reluctant to like accept this whole Asian thing like so suddenly. So I just thought like that was nonsense though, but in a sense I get that, because it looks weird. So hmm.
Yeah. I think it may be that it's more, not so much that it's an Asian thing and we don't want to be Asian, but it's something that's outside of our culture entirely.
Mm,
It's just a
mm, mm,
different. It's like women wearing hijabs, you
mm,
know, and the hijab that Muslim
mm, mm.
women wear, and
Right.
and you know, I think if American women, if more Western women wore hijabs and like felt the comfort, because when American, say, I'll just speak about American women, when they do wear hijabs and they feel just a kind of a sense of comfort, right? A sense
Mm,
that you're just protected, and men can't look at you and make comments at you and that sort of thing. It just feels more, yeah. This is what
mhm.
women say, right? And in
Right.
my class, I do this exercise where I have Muslim women
Mm,
put hijabs on American women, right?
mm,
So they try them on and they can feel what it feels like. Um,
okay.
and so I think in the end, it just takes a while to get comfortable with it, but it takes a while, and then eventually it just becomes a normal thing. So even for me, it's normal. I just go out of the house and I put a mask on, and but I think this will carry on further in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more thing I want to add on to this mask topic is like I once read about one article like on Facebook or something. Maybe it was from influencer or like scholar, and he said that it would be much easier for Americans to wear a mask if that was not a political issue. Like, so it's really obvious that, mask like protects you and other people. And American people are so individualistic though, but they really care about community as well. So they really hate like to harm this community. So if that approach was applied to American society, like, okay, like wearing masks, like, doesn't have to do with any political issues, or doesn't have to do with your looks, it's for protection of your community, like your society, your family, like that approach would be more helpful to, your people. So I really agreed on that.
I think that's true also in a way. And I think, now I'm going to turn to a different camera. I think that there's, also, early on we had a very divided, which it's a political issue. We had divided political loyalties, and we had leadership that was not clear about the importance of wearing a mask. And in fact, there was lots of different information coming into the United States. I think it was really clear in Asia that you wear a mask. There was no question about it. But here, leaderships that first off, that just denied the pandemic, and we're very much in denial of lots of aspects of this, and that itself was a problem. And so wearing a mask became a focus of contention. You're either on this side or you're on the other side of a political debate. But the problem is, you're also taking people's lives. People's lives are at risk, right? And so you really run run into a lot of problems with that. So, yeah, I think that's also very much part of it. And now, if we had different leadership, for sure, and their leadership if President Trump had from the very beginning said, listen, everyone, you need to wear a mask. It's really, really important that you do that. I have no doubt, first off, that he would have been reelected. And that more people's lives would have been saved, and so. Right. But also understand that Americans, we're not very thoughtful about science. We're not really educated. So. Koreans are much more educated than we are.
Oh my god! Like some crazy people are there, like everywhere. So.
Well, we have many more, I think. Partly because we have a large society, but also we have a lot of crazy people. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, it's yeah. What do Koreans think in general, though, about what do they think about Trump in general? Like, what do people say? Do they think he's crazy?
In general?
Yeah. Do they like his hair?
We definitely hate his hair.
Okay, well, we do too.
Yeah, like for Trump, like it is also complex too, he is somewhat very like bragging and very talented, like how can I say, reality TV show star at the same time.
Yeah. He would have been a good YouTuber with lots of followers.
Yeah, much more than mine.
Yeah.
Oh my god! So he is obviously like very unique figure, and we think like that too. But he was kind of helpful for us when especially like North Korea and South Korea's relationship was good. Like
Yeah.
2 years ago, he like mediated
Yeah.
like very different issues. So it was very helpful at that time. So we cannot blame him for everything. Like all he did for domestic politics. Like we feel
Yeah.
really sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. He sort of, in there's a way in which he kind of acted. We say there's a saying in English, like a bowl inside of a china cabinet. Like, so a bowl, like a, bull,
Mm-hmm.
inside of like a glass room. He was just,
Mm,
when he did the work, those, when he went to North Korea and so on.
mm, 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 mm.
But there's a way in which he so thinks so much of himself that he put himself in certain situations to try to make big things happen. And he
Mhm,
did some things
mm,
that had some value that other people would have thought, okay, I can't do this, or I will follow protocol. And he
mm,
doesn't
mm,
follow
mm.
anyone's protocol. He doesn't follow anything. I don't, yeah, I don't know what he
Yeah.
follows.
Yeah. He's a like
Hey,
real free man, I guess.
yeah, well, yeah, his hair is free, that's for sure. So,
Uh,
hey, so tell me, I have a question about what's the next. So I want to ask you a couple questions about BTS.
mhm.
Um, is there a new band that is coming up, a male band? So I know like the biggest girl band is Blackpink right now, right?
Mhm. Right.
Are they the biggest right now?
Yes. Yes, they're biggest right now.
Yeah, it's that nobody else has come because there are so many different bands. In BTS, what band might be the next BTS that's just bigger than BTS? Is there one right now that it's growing in popularity?
Well, there are a few groups, like especially, in K-pop boy groups.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, BTS and EXO, have you ever heard about
Yeah, I know
EXO?
EXO.
Yeah,
Yep.
EXO
Yep.
was kind of like competing at the
Yep.
early stage, but BTS like skyrocketed. So,
Yep.
um, I guess they're kind of competing for being the next BTS, you know. So they are really like, I guess like many K-pop groups got a confidence like, okay, if we do good and if
Yeah.
we like connect with fans all over the world, then maybe we can reach out to the global market. Like I guess
Yeah.
BTS gave like a lot of K-pop idols like a hope and confidence as well.
Mm-hmm.
But right now there's no obvious group like, okay, like you're gonna be the next BTS, because BTS is kind of one and only boy group like who
Yeah.
stands out. So yeah, they're competing for the next global market, I guess.
I remember when BTS and EXO were kind of similar, right? So
Oh, you
like,
remember? Wow, okay.
yeah, this is when I really first started paying attention to K-pop. So, like
Oh,
4 years
okay.
ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but then BTS just took off, and
Mm-hmm.
EXO is still big, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
right? But not
Right.
like. So I wonder. So it won't be EXO that will become the next. So now I'm going to think like a sociologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it won't be EXO because
Mm-hmm.
it'll have to be another group that comes later that
Mm-hmm.
just is starting right now that will really take off and
Mm-hmm.
then surpass
Mm-hmm.
BTS. Hey, are they? I mean, they still have to. Some of them have to do military service, right? All of them do, right?
All of them, yeah.
Yeah. So that means the group goes away.
Not goes away, but they have to like at least do their like singing performances like with only 5 members or 4 members at a time.
Okay.
And actually there was this issue, like military issue, like how about BTS not going to military because they did like really like global like achieving thing, like
Yeah.
achieving like gold medal in Olympics.
Yeah.
Because when athlete gets gold medal in Olympics, they don't go to military here.
Oh, I didn't
So
know that.
oh really?
Okay.
So like some people were kind of arguing like, oh, they did more or they did as same as the Olympians like did like when they got like gold medals because they let the world people know about Korea, you know, and they did like something big for K-pop industry. So what about like them not going to military service, you know? You know,
Yeah.
there was like other arguments like no, they're still like citizens, so they still need to go to military service.
Yeah.
So it's
But
kind of
athletes are citizens, right?
mm,
So
mm, mm,
and you
mm.
got to think that BTS at least have done something as big as somebody who wins the gold medal in table tennis or badminton. You know what I mean? Like that has to be
Yeah,
just as valuable.
yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
Greco-Roman wrestling or something. I don't know, but
Oh
yeah,
my God. Right,
it's
right.
yeah. I think it's huh. So the idea is that one only, but the service is 2 years or 18 months.
Uh, I think 20 or 18 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
like less than 2 years. Mm.
yeah. Because I had a couple of friends who were. I had one friend in graduate school who had to go
Mm.
back to Korea for his service, and then he came back to
Oh.
graduate school, and um, so the idea is that somebody could they could do they could join the service. One could join at a time, and then they
Mm-hmm.
would come back to the band, and somebody else would join.
Mm-hmm.
But
That
you
could be
have
the
to,
option.
but you
Yeah.
have to do it before a certain age, right?
Normally, like, you need to do it before you get to 30.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
mm-hmm. But there are like special cases if you're like very sick or, you know, if you have some personal issues like family stuff, you know, then
Yeah.
maybe you can postpone it.
And women do not join the military.
Mm,
Correct.
no, no, yes, correct.
Okay. So come on. That's not.
Oh my
Do women do women want to join the military? Do people ask if they can join?
God. Like some women want to join, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because they want to serve for like public, you know, and they want to do something for our country.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, like women feel very blessed, like we don't about the fact that we don't need to go to the military service.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So hang on. So that's BTS. I watched, by the way, the video that they did recently on
Mm,
the
okay.
their. I was speaking with MK
Mm.
and and Chris, her assistant, my friend, and they played the video for me. It's
Oh,
really
okay.
interesting of them. Welcoming people to Korea, like trying to really promote Korea. It's big.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
mm,
cool. It's a really neat video.
mm. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, that is. And one more thing, like a big hit label, like so that has BTS. So Big Hit became the fourth biggest company, like entertainment company in Korea,
Mm,
only because they have BTS. So they made this new boy group. So I think like they already know this how to's to, you know, appeal to global markets. So I think you
mm-hmm.
need to focus on them too.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's so interesting. Yeah. It's so, honestly, it's so fascinating. Hang on, I'm going to switch
Mhm.
my camera. It's so interesting that um again, Korea, I just had a conversation about this um with one of your um television stations, right?
Mhm.
I made a video for them, and I was talking about, and then I did another one for Arirang TV. Do you know
Mhm.
Arirang?
Yeah, I know, I know.
Okay, so and I was talking about how fascinating it is that a country of 55 million people, looking at where Korea was in 1950 and
Mhm.
1960, and then today,
Mhm.
nobody would ever have predicted that Korea would be where it is. And I think that there's a way in which I don't think that there's ever been an example in world history of a country that has made the economic and cultural advancements and
Mhm.
had the impact on the world that Korea has had. And
I really appreciate that.
yeah,
Yes.
no, I don't, yeah, I really don't think there is. Certainly not in the modern world. And by modern world, I just mean the industrial world, not the post, and even the industrial world, let alone the post-industrial world. So, yeah, it's so interesting. Um, Listen, so what questions do you have for me, or do you have any
Oh,
questions for me?
yeah, I have questions.
All right.
So hold on. Mm.
I don't know if any. There are a few people. There's a few people watching, and I don't know if anybody has any questions either. If you do, you can put them in the chat. I think the chat is on, and it seems to be on. So.
Ah, really? Okay. Oh. Mm.
And
Mm.
while we're waiting for Jiyu,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that yeah, we're just having this conversation in a 14-hour time difference. With, Jiyu is a Korean YouTuber and teaches
Mm-hmm.
English,
Yep.
and just reached out to me and said, "Hey, could we talk at some point?" And I said, "Absolutely, let's talk." So I'm always looking for to have what I think are fascinating conversations with
I
people.
mean, I really appreciate because, I saw you were on MKTV and
Yeah,
that has like 1 million subscribers, which is a
yeah.
huge channel. And, she is a very like stunning lecturer. So, I am just a, starter beginner, and I was really thinking like, oh, maybe he is not like willing to join my interview or conversation. And I was like so happy that when I got your email, so
Oh gosh, oh, that makes me feel nice. I feel humbled. The fact that
oh yeah.
anybody would ever ask me to have a conversation is
Mhm.
nice. So
Oh my
yeah, it feels
God.
good.
Yeah.
No,
So,
it's good. And MK is really, she's really awesome.
mm-hmm.
When she came to my class, a lot of you've seen the video of my class, right? It's a lot of people,
Yes,
and the
yes.
cameras are in the room, and people are watching from around the world, and people come in and they don't know how to really do it. They don't know how
Mm.
to really hold the audience. I don't know how to hold the audience, right? Because I'm just a guy that's hanging on. But man, MK just took the room. She just
Mm,
that
mm,
room was right with her. The whole
mm, mm,
everybody was.
mm.
She was really amazing. I've had
Yeah.
many people speak in that classroom in the past,
Mm-hmm.
20 years, and I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen anybody do what MK did. She was really special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She is brilliant and she like is very inspiring, like as a role model for like as a woman,
Yeah.
So I'm also a female like who's in 30s and like she's very inspiring. So
Well,
yeah.
awesome. I'll tell her you said that. And when I come to Korea,
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure that you have a chance to meet her. Right?
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
Okay.
would be nice. Yeah.
Oh, that would be really,
I
really nice.
promise you that you will meet MK.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay.
No, that would be
Hmm.
really nice.
Yeah. So I got a few questions.
Okay.
So like I already introduced your lecture like about Asian Cool into my
Mm-hmm.
channel before, but it was like 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and many Korean YouTubers like introduced your lecture like mainly focusing on oh Asia is cool, like K-pop is cool, and BTS is awesome, like mainly focusing on that. But I saw your whole lecture and then I summarized it.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know, like I try to be fair, but maybe that's the one of the reasons why my channel isn't growing like super fast, I guess. It's growing
Mm.
slowly, but it's not
Well,
very.
there's a lot of
Mhm.
competition, so no, that's
Yes.
fine. No, give it time.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's cool.
Yeah, so but it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And BTS was still a big thing then, but not like this big.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I was
yeah.
really intrigued, like how you could find like this situation, like this whole K stuff, like 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm really curious how you got into this K culture and K-pop
Yeah.
like thing happens.
So maybe about so I'm gonna switch my camera here
Hmm.
again, and then I'm gonna turn toward a different camera and I'll
Hmm.
tell a story. So probably about 8 years ago, I came upon a short video about Korea, just about the way the government,
Hmm.
just how it's about Hallyu.
Hmm.
Is that how you say that? Hallyu, Korean wave,
Hallyu,
Hallyu,
Hallyu. Hmm.
Hallyu.
Hmm.
And so I was just really fascinated. I had never seen, and I had known about this, right?
Hmm.
But so for those of you who aren't familiar, Hallyu means the wave. It's the wave, but it literally means the Korean wave. And is that right? That's what.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the idea is that. Wait, hang on. I'm going to do something for you. There we go. So this idea that there's economic power and political power, the ways in which countries in the world can organize themselves to influence other countries politically and economically, but countries in the world can also influence other countries in more soft ways, using instead of a kind of a stick, a carrot,
Hmm.
and especially by way of culture. And we see this, how Western culture has sort of moved itself around the world and imposed itself in other countries in lots of different ways. But there's a way in which it really imposes itself, whereas Korea didn't impose itself. Like you don't have the power, you don't have the stature, you don't have the ability to impose Korean culture in other countries. But what you did was you created such fascinating pieces of culture, and then in many ways invited other people to see that culture and then embrace it, like just see how cool it is, right? Like create this like coolness out there that's like, listen, don't you want to be like this, right? And so when you think about all the K-pop as an example of that, I mean, there are many. I think it started with Korean cinema that 30 years ago or so, but music and K-pop,
Hmm.
it's just so well done, and the Korean government participated also in investing money into helping groups to really
Hmm.
form and build talent and find talent and so on.
Hmm.
And it made it easier for people to get funds for that. And so I was fascinated by that, like
Hmm.
how that happened, because I do a lot of work in South America. My work is in Latin America and South America. So I watched how U.S. culture, in a very imperialistic way, imposed itself on Latin America, like
Hmm.
Coca-Cola and Pepsi,
Hmm.
everything. So that's how I first got interested in Korean culture
Hmm.
and K-pop. So what happened was, here,
Hmm.
hang on, I'm going to come back here. So what happened with K-pop
Hmm.
is that maybe 4 years ago I was listening. I mean, I've been listening to K-pop because I listen to music from all over the world. I'm
Hmm.
just constantly
Hmm.
wanting to listen to. I'll pick a radio station out from somewhere in the middle of Europe or
Wow.
Africa or somewhere, and I just
Really?
listen to it. And
Wow.
and so, um, but what I heard, I woke up to this idea that BTS broke the record
Hmm.
for Taylor Swift for downloads in a
Hmm.
24-hour period.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I said, wow, BTS. I had heard of BTS. I knew of them and I had heard their music, but I knew that nobody else here knew about BTS. And so I had class that day and I just walked into my class and I said, hey, how many of you know about BTS? And like, no, but 5 people raised their hands. So you have 800 people, 5 people raised their hands. I said, oh my God, this is amazing.
Hmm.
And then I explained what happened, how they just broke the record.
Oh,
for Taylor
okay.
Swift.
Wow.
And
Oh.
I said, this is the kind of, the English word that we use as provincialism,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like really, like many, provincialism is probably pretty common in Korea, but the people didn't step out, Americans very often, because we're so
Mm-hmm.
big, have this idea that the world revolves around us and like our
Mm-hmm.
culture and Beyonce and not everybody. And I'm like, man, come on, this is BTS, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be running the show, and people were really shocked. They were really surprised, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's when I really jumped into BTS right there at
Mm-hmm.
that moment. Although I had heard them before,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm.
like the music. I mean, I like all music, so
Oh,
yeah.
wow. You really are a cosmopolitan. Like I even don't listen to like all the music from all over the world, you know. I
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
yeah, I'm really impressed.
No,
Mm.
I do. Yesterday, I was listening to Turkish music from
Mm.
the 16th century. Telling
Wow.
my wife, like, listen to this. This is music that was written for Allah.
Mm-hmm.
This was the most priceless music at the time that it
Mm-hmm.
was written. And
So
yeah,
what
so
did your wife say about that?
she thought it was very nice. Yeah, but
Okay.
she thought it was nice. Yeah,
She said it was nice. Okay.
yeah. But I thought it was amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm really impressed. Like just to hear like how you got into this Hallyu like stuff
Mm,
and how you convey the lecture, like you were really trying to like enlighten American students, like, oh, there's a whole different, like whole bigger world out there, like you were
yeah,
really eager to convey that message to them,
yeah.
so I was kind of impressed because here South Korea is like kind of small country compared to your country. So we
Uh-huh.
were like always open to other countries. So we really care about what other country think or, like what other people think because we have to adapt because that's the only way for us to survive.
Yeah,
Like so we were always like really careful about what is happening like outside the world. But
yeah,
like you were really conveying and like delivering this lecture like a message to American students who seemed like don't care. you know?
yeah, yeah.
So
Who could never find Korea on a map?
yeah,
But
yeah. So
for
mm,
Korea, between Japan and China,
mm,
I mean, you are in between these giants, right?
hmm, right.
And economically and militarily, right?
Hmm,
And then
hmm,
now China, it's just you
hmm,
could be swallowed up by China
hmm.
very quickly, um, but won't be probably. Um, yeah. And then India, of course, right? I
uh,
mean, it's just so much, but yeah.
yeah, right. Mm. So how
Okay,
do we feel about like surrounded by the strong countries?
yeah. Yeah. How? Yeah. Well, right. I think you said right. You have to be really aware
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
the world around you, and we have Canada and we have
Hmm,
Mexico, and
hmm.
that's it. Otherwise, we're cut off, and we don't care about Canadians because they're all really nice and they just drink beer and play hockey, so they're not a threat to us.
Oh
And
my God. Okay.
Mexicans
Wow.
are, because they
Mm.
make really awesome food, and so they distract us in a way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very stressful. And we Koreans say it's really tragedy slash opportunity for us to be located like between China and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and historically, like Japan and South Korea, well, entire Korean peninsula has this very painful history because,
Yes.
yeah, right, because of colonization. Like, is that
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it was really tragic, and still, like the relationship between two countries isn't that good.
Mm-mm.
And we are very competitive to especially Japanese and Japanese people and Japanese country, So, um,
Which I think is why the Korean economy, you've been able to do what you did,
mhm,
starting in the 1960s and 70s. Yeah, it's a
mhm.
direct competition with Japan.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, which is pretty amazing. Hey,
Mhm.
what do you call, the giant conglomerates companies in Korea,
Mm.
like Hyundai and so on? What is the Korean word for that?
It's a 재벌, 재벌.
Tape. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like JAE,
Yeah.
J, and BULL, like 재벌, 재벌.
Chaebol. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
chaebol.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard because we don't spell it that way, but chaebol. Yeah, but but this is similar. It's organized in a very similar way as the chaebol. They don't. The Japanese don't call them chaebols, but it's very similar
Mm.
in a way.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was working in Samsung before I went to graduate school.
Uh huh.
So, yeah, like
What
it's
did what
very,
did you what did how, no and how was that?
it was very intense. Intense and competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like getting into the company was very, very tough and competitive. And after getting into that company, like was still competitive and intense.
Hmm.
Mm.
What did you do for them?
I did overseas marketing for Samsung Electronics, and I
Mm-hmm.
did some planning after that.
Uh huh.
Mm.
Well, awesome. Well, evident you did a good job because look at the Galaxy today. Look at Samsung, their electronics.
That's not my work though.
Oh, all right. Well, all right. Well, somebody did.
Somebody did. Yeah,
Hey, and
yeah.
then what did you study in graduate school?
Graduate school, I studied communications.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, very cool. Hey, so let me ask you. So when you say as a YouTuber,
Hmm.
what what does that mean for you as a somebody in Korea? What does that?
Mm, well, like as a Korean or as like individual?
Yeah. Okay, as an individual for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, individual, well, my dream was to be on the TV when I was in graduate school, like undergraduate school. Like I applied for several broadcasting companies to be a TV host or a like TV reporter, but I
Mm-hmm.
failed, and I went to Samsung. So I was always looking for this channel and medium to convey my voice. And I believe that I had something to like at least deliver this kind of good infos or, like some good things happening in the world, or even like enlighten or open their world. So like Koreans have this language barrier, like usually because we speak Korean, not English.
Mm-hmm.
So we were so like contained in this Korean language like environment. So we are stuck in there as well. So I was kind of really felt sorry. Like, there's a whole bigger world out there, like you did to your
Mm.
students.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you can
Yep.
speak English or if you're open to, like newses or like mediums like all over the world, then your word can be like a lot bigger. So I really wanted to speak that. So this is kind of my like dream. So it's very meaningful, and it's like slowly growing, and like I have this special like stunning guest right now. So
Mm.
I feel really blessed. So it's very meaningful to me individual for as an individual, and as a global citizen, like this is an opportunity,
Yeah.
so I got this chance to talk with you, and maybe I can talk with my professors from my undergraduate school or graduate school about like what they think about, how things are going nowadays,
Uh-huh.
so I can be just medium, so it's really, really great. And actually, I have this English channel as well, and I did some pop reactions there, like
Uh-huh.
K-pop and Bollywood songs and something like that. And it got burst like a month ago, so it has 2,000 subscribers now.
Great.
So that's like English language channel. So like this is a I don't know, like this is a tool for me to communicate with people like from different world and people from outside world, and like educate myself as well. So
Yeah.
it's really great.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
Mm,
nice.
mm.
And so have you streamed at all, or do you make videos and put them up?
I never streamed at all. So I
Yeah.
was really, really like nervous when you suggested, oh, okay, what about streaming? So, oh my God, this is so freaking hard.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so listen,
yeah,
next time
yeah.
we talk, we'll actually
Mm-hmm.
stream. I'll get your streaming key and I'll
Oh,
put it in
okay.
and then we can stream on your channel. And I was going to do that earlier, but I was having problems with my
Mm-hmm.
with the stream right now. It's going it appears as though it's going really well. It's
Mm-hmm.
nothing is lagging or
Mm-hmm.
anything. And so
Okay.
I was nervous about streaming to your channel and
Mm-hmm.
then having it look really bad. That would be bad for you. So, but
Mm-hmm.
next time we'll make sure that we talk again and we'll stream directly to your channel, and then you
Oh.
can, it's not. I'm not going to say it's not difficult
Mm-hmm.
because it's challenging, but if you know somebody to
Mm.
help, it's also really nice. But at the
Oh,
same
I
time,
really
it's fine
appreciate
to put, yeah,
that.
just put videos up.
Mm-hmm.
So for your English channel,
Mm-hmm.
is this for mostly for Koreans who are wanting to speak English and learn English, but other people can join?
No, it's for foreign people. Like
Mm.
95% of watchers are from like other countries
Ah,
who
okay.
who who are interested in Korea and are interested in like Bollywood reaction or something.
Uh huh. Uh
Hmm.
huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah, it's so nice.
Mm.
It's so key.
Mm.
And so for you as someone also who is teaching English,
Hmm.
um, it's really a nice way for you to bring all of the pieces of you together.
Mm. Right,
Yeah.
right. Mm.
And do you teach English full time?
Yeah, full time, but this is my own business, so I can like adjust my time.
Yeah.
So it's really great thing. Yeah. Like unless then I cannot do any other things like YouTube or studying or wherever. I couldn't do it. But this is my own business, so I can like adjust my schedule all the time. So it's really
Yeah.
great. Mm.
And who are your students?
From elementary school students to like adults like in 60s.
Uh-huh. So for elementary school students, so like
Hmm.
after school they
Hmm.
go for tutoring. They go then to like your
Yeah,
work
right,
with
right.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is the thing, Korean students, they Mike, like we don't do this in the US. You go to school from 8 to 4 every day
Mm-hmm.
and then you go for more tutoring, and we don't do that
Mm-hmm.
here. Not
So
I mean
what
not
what do you
everyone in
do?
no. We go from 8 to 2 every day and then
Uh-huh.
we leave school and we go and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what people.
And
Some
play.
people do. Yeah, we play. Yeah, we go smoke marijuana. I don't know what we do. We try. Yeah. How do you think that's how we got Donald Trump as a president? You think?
Oh my God. I wasn't
No.
supposed to laugh this louder, but I
Yeah.
loved your joke. So
Yeah. No, I think that really. Um, no, but I think this is one thing that Americans don't really understand about Korea. When I say that you take education seriously,
mm-hmm.
sometimes in a way too seriously. I
Right.
also said this in the interview that I did for Arirang,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a way in which it's too much. You lose some of the creativity and the possibility and so on because people are just like really
Mm.
trying to force into people's
Mm-mm.
minds certain ways of thinking. And that
Right.
doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people go to school all day and then they do tutoring in the
Mm-hmm.
evening, right? So this would be
Right.
like your work, right?
Mm-mm-mm. Right. Mm.
And the adults who you work with
Mm-hmm.
who are wanting to learn English, what is their
Mm-hmm.
reason for wanting to learn English?
Oh, there are various reasons. Like, some of them really want to go to travel and speaking English like fluently, like with the locals.
Mm-hmm.
And some people want to do like presentation, like in their company, like Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And some people want to just communicate with other people, like from other countries. And some people want to make some friends,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very, very different. And actually, like some of my elementary school students want to be a YouTuber like me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really different. Yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And the idea of being a YouTuber is just to put yourself out in the world.
Mhm.
Do you feel nervous about that? Do you feel
I
do you,
feel really nervous about it.
yeah. What's most nerve wracking?
Mm, well, it's kind of out of track thingy, because, like you said, we Koreans are too focused on education. And
Yeah.
there's like certain way, like society is changing, so it's really a different from the past though. But still, like there's certain way, which is considered to be a successful way. So, if you like become a doctor or a lawyer, then you're considered to be successful here, or
Yeah.
go to a big company like Samsung, it's
And
like
be an
successful.
engineer or
Hmm.
something. Yeah.
So I was like on this right track. Like I studied really hard and I went to a good school and I went to Samsung, like I was
Yeah.
like this very behaving girl, like all the
Yeah.
time. But like suddenly, like after I reached out like 30 something, and then I just like, told my mom like, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. And she was so shocked. And she
Yeah.
was so like disappointed. So, it's very nerve-wracking. Like, this is not my past. Like, this was not my past before, but I'm just challenging myself to do this new thing like all the time, like, and I've never done like this before, so like this is really nerve-wracking, and I just have no idea what other people would think like this, like me.
Mm.
So yeah, it's like very nerve-wracking.
So you left your job at Samsung.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah, that is pretty big. And I went to graduate school, and then I started like thinking, okay, what am I going to do with my life, so
Yeah.
mm.
Wow. Listen, you need to. That's pretty cool. I
Mhm.
applaud you.
Oh my God, thank you.
You
Thank you
you
very much.
um you should read MK's new book.
Mm.
Have you seen
I
it?
I already read it.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. All
I
right.
already
Yeah.
read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's
Mm.
really speaking to, people like you. Yeah,
Mm. Right,
in the
right.
book. Did it
Mm.
help you? Did it help to
Yeah, it helped. Like I said, she is probably about my mom's age, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But she's still active, like I guess more active than me,
Yeah.
So like she's so like socially active, and she is like doing like so many things at the same time, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of wondering like how can she do all those things, like she's very energetic and very inspiring, so one of the reasons why I emailed you was after I watched MK's video with you.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking like, okay, so you heard this MK's opinion, uh, but she is like more professional and more like sophisticated and like more like older than me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like beginner, but I'm in 30s and I'm kind of like younger than her, so maybe you can like listen to other voices like of South Korea. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe I can like give something to you as well. So that's
Mm.
after I watched MK's video. So
Oh, that's cool. Oh my
mm,
God, that's
mm,
really that
mm,
is really nice to hear because,
mm,
for me, and when you get to, I just for me, it's always I don't know when people reach out to me and they have something to offer. They
mhm,
hear something that I say and it inspires them to think about something in some way, and then they
mhm,
have something to offer, and then they reach out to
mhm,
me.
mhm.
I always feel really, really, really good about that, and
Oh.
yeah, because that's what I want, right? I want
Mm,
people.
mm, mm.
I want. Yeah, it feels like sometimes people think that when somebody like me or somebody like MK or
Mhm.
that I have all the answers or that I should have the answers, and like I only
Mhm.
get new ideas by talking to people like you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this is one of the reasons I stay really active with my students, and I'm always talking to
Mm.
people from all over the world because that's where I
Yeah.
learn.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, but it's
different.
really impressive as well because like for like your status and like you are a professor.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you get like that much career, and when you get that much experience, like you suddenly like stop learning. Like you think like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm enough, like that's very usual thing. And but
Yeah.
you're like still learning and you're like very open-minded still. Like so it's really, really impressive and it's very inspiring to young people, like
Well,
me.
that's good to
So
hear. And that's
yeah.
good to hear. Yeah, because I feel like that. I
Mm.
feel like, the reason I teach, the reason I do what I do,
Mm-hmm.
is because I'm teaching myself.
Mm.
I go out and I say, okay, what do I want to learn about? And then I see something maybe in the news that I don't understand, and
Mhm,
then maybe I will, as a result of that,
mhm,
maybe then what I'll say is, oh, let me go learn something about that, and then I go talk to someone from a particular background or that culture or something in that way, and then I learn, and then I go into my classroom and I explain what it is that I've learned,
mhm,
and then they say, oh, okay, here we go now.
mhm,
And then they get something from me, but really the only thing I've done is teach myself. And so
mm,
by teaching, it just inspires me to keep learning. And I
mm,
never do the same class twice. I never
mm,
do the same class
mhm.
twice. So
Wow.
I
Mm,
so there are things that I use from different classes, right? But it's
mhm,
always different. I'm always doing something unique, something new. That
mhm,
means twice a week I put two new presentations together.
wow.
And a lot of times what people do is they have a class that they teach and then they do the
Mhm,
same lectures, and then the
mhm,
next semester they do the same
mhm,
lectures, and they
mhm,
they pull out the same notes and they say
mhm,
the same things, and I
mhm.
never do that. And so
Wow.
and so, and then the students in the class change things because I bring them up into the front of the room and I talk to them, and then
Mm,
they
mm,
change
mm,
the way the class goes,
mhm,
and so that keeps me young, keeps my mind
mm.
really,
Right, right.
yeah,
Mm,
fluid in a way. So,
wow.
like for example, here's something. I'll say this, and then I'll let you go, and then I will go, but we will do this again for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, so, but next time we will stream it to your channel. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so one of the things that I just read
Mhm,
today, like I know about soju. So there's another example, right?
mhm.
I've known about soju. I had soju 30 years ago. I drank soju for the first time,
In the States or
in the States.
in
Yeah.
the States? Okay.
But, um, but, and then I read that the first and the third most popular spirit, like liquors
Mhm.
in the world, were brands of soju. And I thought, oh my God, like this is, Koreans drink a lot of soju. Well, it's not just
Yeah.
Koreans, Chinese and so on, right? But
Mm,
but I did read that Koreans do drink more shots of liquor by
Mm-hmm.
far per capita than any other country in the world. Right.
This is kind of embarrassing.
Well, yeah. So I think then what I have not explored
Mm-hmm.
in Korea then is alcoholism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there must. Yeah. Whoa, hang on one second.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hang on one second.
Okay, take your time.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the live stream. It looks like it may have crashed, but I don't know. Huh. Okay. Well, in the event, it may or may not have crashed. That I don't know. But let
So,
me ask you that.
mm-hmm.
Maybe. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll save that for the next conversation. This would be
Okay.
really good
Okay.
because
Okay.
I'm really curious about that.
Uh-huh.
To
Like
get your
Korea's alcoholism.
yeah, Korea's alcoholism. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm really curious, like about how actual American or American students think about Korean people as well, because like they just didn't know anything about Korea before, but maybe like they got exposed to this BTS news and like your lecture, like did they
Yeah.
change? Like how do American like students think of Korea now? Like is there any change into their view?
I think
Mhm.
when I talk about every time I talk about Korea, American
Mhm.
students are really interested. They're more interested.
Mm, okay.
But mostly my students are, but mostly Americans don't think much about Korea other
Hmm.
than and most Americans don't even know that Samsung is a Korean company. They probably think it's a Chinese company. Hyundai is a Chinese car. Kia
Hmm.
is a Chinese car. They think these are LG. They just assume Chinese. For Chinese, China, Japan, Korea, it's all the
Hmm.
same. For
Oh,
many
okay.
Americans. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's
But
just Asia. Oh.
yeah, it's Asia, but
Mm-hmm.
Asia is now
Mm-hmm.
increasingly as
Mm-hmm.
China, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we've lost our
Mm-hmm.
way in that sense. But and that's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
it's not very kind, but we're not very global in our way of seeing the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah. So I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen. So okay, so now I'm going to do a couple things. So
Okay.
this has been Jiyu, this has been awesome talking to you. I feel, yeah, it's just really nice. It touches my heart. And
Oh,
thank you for reaching out.
thank you. It touches my heart too. It's very honorable thing for me to do this interview with you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It
Mm.
feels, I mean, for me, you can imagine that, for me, I don't know anybody who takes, I'm a teacher, right? So when anybody takes my ideas seriously and listens to me, I feel very good about it. So,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the recording,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to do. I would just want to test out a couple of things here before we get off.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so, and I will sing you the recording, and I'm still. Hang on one second.
Okay.
I'm keeping the stream going.
Mm-hmm. So, do your students see this streaming at real time now?
Yeah, but there are probably a few, but mostly not
Oh.
because I'm like you. So hang on.
Okay.
So I'm like you in the sense that I am. Whoa, hang on a second. Hang on. I have to. Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
I think we're still going. No. So I'm like you in the sense that I am just starting my, we stream my class, right? And on YouTube we have, I don't know, 53,000 followers or something, which isn't very many compared to MK, but
Mhm.
but I don't, but only during class when we have the class time, and that's when people really watch.
Mhm.
That I've never established a pattern to
Mhm.
stream outside of class, and so I'm just right
Mhm.
now starting to do that.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, so not many people will
Mm.
watch. There were like 12 people watching you and I
Mm.
talk, but
Mm.
more people will watch the video.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Mm.
it's just if somebody